Have you guys listened to my Renter Walter? Gosh, I've got some video. I got a video, and some of you guys have seen it. I'm gonna send it out again because it's so damn good. He's so fucking smart. He's my mentor, also my best friend. After Joe, Joe's number one, Walter's number two. Anyway, so Walter hates it if I talk about the house. He's like, it just seems like you're bragging. He's like, it just seems like, you're saying, oh, this is what I have. And he hates it. He's like, oh, that just turns me off so bad. Like if he sees me in like a video, like there's a video I was like starting outside and I show people the view of the pool and he's just like, oh, I hate that when you show the view of the pool. People can tell you have a nice house. You don't have to say it. You don't have to show anything. I'm like, Walter, you are just super, it's super, I mean, you're just super sensitive about this. And he's like, okay, I could be. And I'm like, I think that people like to see it because I remember when I was starting the film industry, I want to see examples of people that are successful. All I'm seeing around me are people like living in tiny apartments making no progress whatsoever. I want to see people that are living a good life, that have that I can be like, okay, they made that money from the film industry. They made that career from the film industry, and I can too. Like, that's what I want to see. And I'm a lot older than these people, so they can really, like, I'm talking to these people, I'm talking to you guys. But, you can see that I've been doing this for 23 years now. Long time. In fact, where's my sheet? Oh, I threw it away. That's okay. I just got a sheet a sheet. I just got a notification that I'm almost vested. I got another year and then I'll be vested. And what that means is that I got 20 years in that the union has been keeping track. Because, those couple of years when I first started, I was doing documentaries, non-union stuff. I wasn't getting union qualifications. So I got 20 years, that's done. So that means that I made that part. The vested is 20 years, 20,000 hours. Okay, all right. And I got the 20 years in, but I don't have the 20,000 hours in yet. So I'm about probably 600 hours short. And then I'll be vested. And what that means is that I'll have health care. Joe and I will have health care for life. As long as I'm alive, he will be covered under my health care for life. But I got to hit 63. That's after 63. And it'll be secondary to Medicare. I know that this is not quite so interesting to you, but it is in a way because, it's something that you will be having in the future, in that the film industry will provide. When you get on these union sets, they start taking pieces out of your paycheck and putting it into a pension, and it also goes to your medical. And the union keeps track of your hours, and there's a certain amount of time. And you can call your union and ask them this too. You can always call the union. Those guys are bored. They got nothing to do other than try to turn these sets over to union sets, meaning the production companies are turning the production companies over. But you can call them, say, hey, future union member here, got some questions for you. And ask him a bunch of questions. What about medical? What about this? How do I get in the union? Ask them. They'll be like, okay, I'll point you to this place, this place. They're super nice. Everybody's nice, you guys. Especially if you say future union member, they're like, oh, paying member? Oh, yeah, interested in that. I've had health care. That's just lifelong. Okay, so let me answer Chanel's question. I've had health care for the last 17 years. So I qualify for health care. I've been getting health care all this time, and everybody on set has health care. You just have to work a certain number of hours in order to qualify for the health care. And that's 600 hours. No, it's 400 hours within a 6-month time period. That's the qualification for the Los Angeles Union. And it's different in different places. Like the unions are different here than they are in Atlanta, than they are in New York City, than they are in London, than they are in Toronto. So that's why you got to call your union, find out. But here, which is one of the hardest unions to get into, that's what it is. It's hard because you got to have like 100 days or 30 union days. Well, this is harder today because you cannot get on these union sets if you're non-union. So 100 that, but in the past it was easier because they would allow that production would allow people that were non-union to work on a union show, and then you could get a union day. And so it was 30 union commercial days could get you into the union, or 100 non-union days. 100 days, yeah, that's a lot, that's a lot of days doing that craft. And you have to have your paycheck stubs and your name on the call sheet. So that's LA. Now, New York City, there's like these loopholes. Like Goran got in the union. I know. It's like Goran got in the union. I don't know how he did it, but he just like get in through like this like little loophole. They just want you in the union so you pay union dues. Although LA is stricter. But people have gotten to the union that didn't have all their qualifications too, because they'll have somebody vouch for them. Like, I've heard of VTR guys getting into the union here where they were non-union covering for a union VTR guy, and there was a TV show, and the union TV guy goes, "Hey, this guy, I need him to cover for me. He only knows how to do this thing for this show. Can you get him in so that he can continue to work on this TV show?" Like they kind of pulled a little bit of like, come on, get this guy in. Even though he doesn't meet qualifications, he's going to, as he's working on this show, I need him to cover me. If the union says fine, then the production company's like, okay, fine, So they used a little muscle to get that guy in. So you hear of different little situations like that. But anyway, what I'm talking about is once you're vested, that means you got a lot of years in, 20 years and 20,000 hours. That's a lot. Then you're vested. That means I have lifelong medical for the rest of my life, secondary to Medicare, yeah. So when I hit 63, then Medicare will cover, right? But then over Medicare, like my mom and dad and many of your mom and dads have to buy additional insurance to cover stuff, get better health care. Like if they get something, cancer, then they could lose their house if they don't have that. So and that's like another $600 a month, or maybe like $1,000 a month. That's expensive. So this would be secondary coverage, but that's very valuable because it's incredible coverage. Like you go in for a surgery and they cover everything. You need an MRI, boom. You need anything, boom. I mean, motion picture health is amazing. So that's what it means. So there's a nice, beautiful bonus when you get vested. So this is something to look forward to a long time away. You're going there. That's where you're going. But you can get in the union and qualify for your medical. Now, what do you do if you're doing non-union stuff right now? What about medical? You got to pay for it. That's the fact. You got to pay for it, and that can be. If you've got a family, that can be quite a bit. Yes. But it depends, because like Marla, Joe's sister, she does mostly non-union stuff. It's all non-union. And all of her 20 years, when I got in 22 years ago, I met Joe. He was an engineer. Oh, I'll show you a picture. See that picture right there? Ooh, that picture. Yeah. I'll show you this picture. I met Joe, and then I met Marla right away. It's his sister. Oh, that's me. That's me. I'm 5 years old. But this is Joe. Right after we met, of course, I would be all over him because look how yummy he is. Oh my God. He didn't smile very much, but he has a nice smile. So, I met Marla. So I met Marla through kayaking with Joe. And she was like taking charge of the kayaks and everything. I'm just like, you're really like self-starter. Like you're really like, you got things going. Like you'd be great. You should be in the film industry. And she's like, what? Me? I don't know anything about that. She's got a little tiny voice. Some of you guys might have seen her. She's like a couple of videos like live with me where she explains that, where she was like, I taught her what to do and she was so scared the whole time. And then she got this job with E! Entertainment and she was living with me in the apartment. You know, Joe was working in Santa Barbara at the time, so we shared an apartment together. And she got this job with E because I was telling her, you know, call these people. First, she got experience down in San Diego because she started in San Diego. Then she moved up to LA. I'm like, okay, take the equipment, take it apart, put it back together 10 times. And she's like, oh, come on. I'm like, yeah, 10 times. Believe me, you get on set, you're going to be really happy that you know what to do really fast. So she was doing that. And I'm like, I call at least 10 people a day. 10 was my number. And she's like, okay, I'm really scared. I'm like, this is what you say, call them, you know. And so she was my first protege, right? Protege, is that the right word? So she calls E Entertainment or somebody associated with E, and they're like, oh yeah, actually you worked on silk stockings. She's working on silk stockings as like a sound intern. They're like, oh, you worked on that. She's like, and I'm a sound mixer. I have she didn't have equipment. Yeah, she didn't have equipment at that time. But anyway, they hired her. They're like, okay, we supply the equipment. The rate's this amount. Are you available on Friday? Yeah. Actually, she called them. She told them she's a sound mixer. They're like, okay, great. We'll put you on our list. Yeah, this is what happened. And then, because I remember the call, and she'll never forget the call either. Out of the blue. Hey, you're available this Friday? We have a shoot. And she's like, yes, I'm available. And they're like, okay, we'll send you, what's your email? Okay, we'll send you over the information. Bye. See you then. Bye. She's like, holy shit. Janet, I just got hired from E Entertainment. I'm like, what? I'm like, I never even got in with them. Holy shit. I'm like, that's great. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, holy shit, how the hell did she do that? That was so fast. I didn't expect she'd get in with the E. I'm like, oh my God, that's like big. That's like Entertainment Tonight. Like, holy shit. And so then she's so fucking nervous. She's almost like having hyperventilating. She's driving there, and she goes to Paramount, and she's waiting. She's gonna go in the parking lot, you know, where they have the thing goes up, and then you go in this parking lot. It's like multi-level to park the car, and then she's gonna go down and meet everybody, and then get equipment, have to put it together and stuff. And she tells the story so well. She's like, so I'm driving up, and I'm at Paramount, and she's like, I had to push that button to get in there and to do the job. And she's like, there was a part of me that was like, don't push the button. Just turn around and leave. Like you are making a choice here to either change your life or choose the life that you have. And she's like, this is the big moment. This is the moment. She's like, I'm so scared. I'm so fucking scared. She presses the button, and then the thing goes up, and she goes in. She's like, oh, fuck. And then she does the job, and I trained her well, and she did not screw up. And they're like, oh, we like you. And they called her again and again and again. She worked with them for years. But it's all non-union. Okay. So she was making like, okay, I think the first year she made like 60 grand, then she made 70 grand, then she made like 85 grand. And now she's probably making maybe 100 grand a year, doing these non-union smaller shoots. And pretty good money, much less stressful jobs. Although, yeah, you know, there are a lot of moving around, packing up, moving here, shooting that, packing up, moving here. Kind of like my shoot over at the Sophie Center. We were moving all over the place. I'm like, I remember thinking, this is what it's like for Marla. I mean, they're constantly doing setups all the time, all day long. That's hard work. And they're making like, you know, much less money than I make doing a commercial, you know? So she's still doing this kind of work. It's all non-union stuff. A lot of interviews, a lot of press junkets, which is promotions for movies, and it's all non-union. She never got in the union. She never got into commercials. She never got in TV shows or feature films because she didn't feel like she felt confident enough. She wanted to stay in her comfort zone and stay in that kind of work where she makes $600 a day, sometimes $800 a day. But, you know, it's not the $2,000 to $3,000 per day. But she's also not dealing with the earwigs and the playback and the big sets and all that stuff. And when she goes on the big sets, I remember this very well myself, guys. I would go on these big sets when I was doing her kind of work behind the scenes and this interviews and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, these big sets, these big important people, like they're so busy. They don't want to talk to me. And, you know, this is important stuff. And don't get in the way. Oh, am I in the way? Oh no. And I was so intimidated by the big sets. And I'm like, oh my God, I could, could I ever work there? And I was really like, I put it in my head like, that was like way big stuff. Well, she did too. Those are the big important people. I better just stick with my smaller stuff. And then I remember, this is so good. I remember driving. I remember the place I was on the freeway. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been a great week. I worked every single day. And how much money did I make? Okay, Monday I did a half day, it was $250. Tuesday I did a full day, and that was $350. Then I did a half day, and then I did a full day, and I like made like $1,000 or $1,250 that week. And I remember going, $1,250, and I worked every single day. And then I'm like, I could be making that much in one day. So what am I doing? I need to go into the higher paid work. I need to leave this lower paid, smaller shoot stuff and go into the higher paid work. And as it all happens perfectly, then I'm on set doing it behind the scenes, and I'm talking to Mike Riley. I know exactly who. I remember the moment. I remember standing right there next to his cart. It was raining. I tell the stories a couple times. I'm like going, hey, so what's your guys' labor rate? Oh, well, we make this much. I think he said like, it was like 800 for 10, and I'm like, 800 for 10. Wow. Oh, well, how much you guys charge for equipment? Oh, it's 800. Then we have the wires. And so I'm like, oh my God, it's like $2,000, I'm like, holy shit. That's like 4 times as much as I'm making right now. And I'm like, I didn't say I'm going to be doing what you're doing. I just said, oh, wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, I'm making around this much per day. And I think I was making like $650 per day doing that at that moment on that shoot. Some shoots I was making $250, half day, 5 hours. Some shoots I was making $350. Then I started making $400. And then I'm getting on some shoots where they have a bigger budget. Now it's $600, with equipment. So it's just all over the place. But it wasn't $2,000 a day. And I remember I just came off of National Geographic where I made $550 with equipment, like 12-hour day. And I'm like, oh, it's time to leave that because I just worked my freaking ass off. And, that was hard work. And I almost killed myself too because I had all of my equipment on and I was working on a boat. And I'm walking like there was a National Geographic on great white sharks, and we're chumming for great white sharks. So they're all around the boat. And I'm walking along the edges of the boat with all this equipment, and it was strapped to my, like it's on my body, strapped. And I was taking the motion sickness pills so I would not get sick. And what that does, if anybody knows, you lose your balance really easily. Yeah, so I could have fallen in the freezing cold water because we're shooting up at Antonio. It was freezing cold with all that gear on. I would just sink, and that's it. Goodbye. I'd be like, because I hate water. I freak out. Yeah, I would have died. That's it. And so I'm like, you're really lucky. Like I didn't realize, I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I was just like, oh yeah, this is what I do. Yeah, a little bit of, I'm also like, how old was I? Like 30 maybe when I was doing that. So I'm also thinking I'm a little bit invincible. So, but then later I thought about, wow, you were really lucky that you didn't fall in the water because, you would have died. That's it. Bye. And then, Nash would be like, oh, okay, that's too bad. I mean, what are they going to do? Sorry. And then Joe would be like, oh, holy shit, she never came back from a shoot. Fuck. Yes. I do swim in my pool sometimes, but it's got to get up to 88 degrees. I know. I'm really a baby. Juliana says, got a weird question about unions. I know that if you're a union, you can only work union jobs. Well, it's so that the actor unions are very strict. And depending on where you are, because we have people in London and Toronto and different places, it may or may not be that they're that strict. But the other unions, like my union and other unions, DGA, they're strict too. DGA and SAG, strict. Like, you can get kicked out of that union. But other unions like camera union, sound union, art union, all these other unions, makeup union, they don't care. Like, they're not going to kick you out. Like, you're not supposed to do non-union, but if you are on a non-union set, then you're supposed to call them and say, hey, I'm on a non-union set, come over and turn it over to union. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be like a little spy, which I don't do that, because I'm not going to tell I'm not going to go against the people that hired me, bite the hand that feeds me. It's non-union for a reason. If they're not gonna shoot it here, if they can't shoot it here non-union and get it done for their budget, they're just gonna go to Texas. They're gonna go over by you guys in Texas, but they're just gonna leave LA if they can't shoot stuff non-union here without getting the union showing up and turning it over to being union. Then they can't get the thing shot for that price. They're just gonna leave. So I'm just like, no, I'll do it. It's just one day, one shoot, So I do it. So you can, but if you're SAG, you can't. Now, if you are SAG too early, meaning if you're SAG and you're not like regularly auditioning for the TV shows and the stuff like that, you kind of boned yourself, because being SAG too early, being SAG when you don't have you're not out there enough and people don't know you enough, it's a problem, because you can only act in SAG stuff, and there's a ton of non-union stuff that you should be acting in. And that's how you build your career, is in non-union, especially as an actor. So I always say, don't join SAG. Become SAG eligible, but don't join it. Because if you're SAG eligible, then you're not in the union yet, but you're just eligible. You can join anytime you want. And then you'll know the time to join is when you get a speaking role, you get something that is like, okay, the union will tell you, you have to join now, and then you will join. So become eligible, not join. That's SAG. Okay, so if you're in SAG and you have another job that you want to do, a technical job, maybe it's in a different, maybe hair and makeup or art department, you can work. It doesn't matter. You can work on that show, hair, makeup, art department, because you're working under a different union. You're doing a different job. So as an actor, you wouldn't want to take an acting gig that's non-union when you're SAG. Shouldn't do that. But if you're working on set as on a non-union show and you're in a union in the art department, you can do that because you're running underneath that union's rules. So yes, this is these questions. You're a couple years in though, like by this time you're a couple years in, and you know what, you're gonna have millions of conversations even before then with other people. Oh yeah, did you do any non-union stuff? How long you been in the union? When did you join the union? I mean, you're going to talk to so many people on set. So first we got to get on set a lot, and then you will get that. Okay, yeah, funny thing on this last shoot I just did with the Rob Lowe shoot, So we got tested in the morning, and this is how, like, you got to really fend for yourself on these sets. I mean, I say it both ways, but, still people don't really understand. So I'm on set, and I get tested in the morning, 8 o'clock, 8:15. I get cleared. Now we're ready to shoot. We shot all day. Not everybody on set was tested, though. Everybody that was going to be around Rob, like Group A, was tested. But like the VTR guy, he wasn't tested. And all the people from the Sophie Center that were helping us and talking to us, they weren't tested. And so we're interacting with all these people. Like I'm talking to VTR, I'm touching his cables, we're touching each other's stuff. And there was a moment where he was talking to somebody, the VTR guy, and he pulled his mask down and he was talking to somebody. That is a no-no. Okay? And I told him, hey, put your mask on. Put your mask up. And he puts it up right away because he knows he's not supposed to do that. Then later, I was eating an apple and I had my mask off. And he's like, put your mask on. And I'm like, I'm eating an apple. I'm like, you can eat. You have to be like 10 feet away from everybody. I'm not talking to somebody spewing my germs all over the place. Anyway, people get like, they're just all like, I'm like, is he upset? I'm like, oh, forget it, whatever. So, because people get a little bit like, when you tell them, hey, your nose is sticking out. Hey, put your mask on. Hey, don't talk with your mask off. And I do that all the time. Anyway, at the end of the day, the producer comes up and he's like, hi. I'm like, are you kidding me? He like high fives me. He wants to high five me. I'm not going to high five him. You know, I'm like, I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, I don't know. That's not really a good idea, but thank you so much. It was really great to work with you. You know, so then he's like, high five. And he's like, oh, like that. I'm like, I'm not going to high five you. What's wrong with you? And then right after that, I go up to the director and he sticks his hand out to shake my hand. I'm like, I think we should fist bump. I'm like, I didn't even want to fist bump. I want, but his hand is coming towards me, and I'm just like, yeah, let's fist bump. And he's like, yeah, but weren't you tested this morning? Like, we've all been tested. I'm like, well, there's some people here that haven't been tested, and I've been working with them, and I could have gotten it today. You know, I don't know. And he's like, oh yeah, good point. But so people are not thinking. I mean, they're just not thinking, right? So, yeah, don't do the pressure of like high fiving or just be diligent because people forget. They're so happy that the Rob Lowe shoot went well. They want a high five and they want to shake hand and all this stuff. Ramon did his first unpaid PA gig over the weekend. Yes, for a photo shoot. The talent was Sabrina Claudio. Fantastic. Photographer invited me on Monday. I'll be going back next Monday. You did a great job. You booked those people. They liked you. They're asking you back. Photo shoots are great. It's just they're shooting the stills instead of the motion picture stuff. That's perfect. Congratulations. I'm really happy for you. And did you get this through Want to Work email? How did it happen?
So I've been following the photographer for quite some time, and he posted something on his story about looking for a PA slash intern. So I
Okay.
just DM'd him, and he DM'd me back, and we just exchanged information. And
Yeah.
that first day went well. That he liked me so much, and he invited me back.
Oh,
Yeah,
so good. So
it was
good.
a cold like call or DM, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you've been following him for a while, and when you reached out to him, what did you say? Was it a version of the Want to Work email?
Somewhat of a version of a want to work
Do you
email.
remember what you said?
I don't remember exactly what I said, but I've been kind of replying to a lot of his posts from the past, so I just kind of was in his radar at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
it's
yeah,
cool.
so from just that point on, it just he actually finally replied, and now we're
Now you know each other.
yeah. So it was really cool. I was just going through, like I told you, I just finished the first module,
Yeah, you're
so I
so silly.
wasn't, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I felt like something was gonna go wrong, but it turned out
That's
everything
right.
went
That's right.
really well.
I know. Yeah, I remember you said that. You're like, I thought that something would go wrong.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
actually, I just helped the guy out and he was so grateful. And yeah, yeah, it's great. Well, and that's good too. Like you got on a little bit quicker than normal, you know?
yeah,
But, I'm never going to say, you know, on one hand, okay, first of all, when you're working for free, it's a different ball game. You can
yeah,
be flexible. You can say, hey, can I come in after 6 p.m.? I would love to work with you. It's kind of like, you have more, the ball is in your court. And when you're working for free, anything you do to help people, they're super grateful.
yeah,
So, and you're starting off, so you probably haven't gotten to the experience list yet. You don't have the backpack stuff yet or what to have on you, but it's great because now that you've been on a shoot, when you get to that part of the training, it's going to mean even more to you because you're going to be like, oh,
yeah.
wow, that would have been helpful. Oh, yeah, now I should have done that. Oh, yeah, this would be great to do next time.
Yeah, I told him that he well, I was like, hey, yeah, I'm just testing the waters and see what I
Yeah,
like, and I would
yeah,
like to PA in any possible shoots. And he
yeah.
said that he's gonna bring me into all the shoots that he's gonna be doing in the future with celebrities, so that way he can help me meet other people that are in the industry for film. I was like,
Yes.
yes, I'll do it. That would be awesome.
Oh,
So
yes, yes.
yeah,
It's so good. And eventually, I mean, I would think pretty quickly he's going to start paying you, or
yeah.
somebody's going to start paying you. Yeah, probably $200 a day. Now the great thing about this is that when you're brought in with a photographer and their budgets are less, you know,
Mhm.
it might be $100 a day because they're not the big. They don't have the budgets. This like he's hired for like maybe $700 to come in and do the still shoots or whatever it is, and then he brings an assistant that he doesn't pay that much, but it's still good because you get on set because he can't pay you that much because he doesn't make that much on the big on every shoot is different, but then when you're there you can go to production and you can say, hey, I just wanted to come over and introduce myself. I'm a production assistant. Yes, I work with Jeremy. We work with all these different shoots, and yeah, I just wanted to give you my information so that I can work with you guys at some point. Here, here's
Yeah.
my card.
And I was actually able to use my PA business card.
Oh
So that's
yeah.
pretty awesome.
And how'd you use it?
So we were on break and I was talking to one of the PR people and the makeup artist, and
Uh-huh.
it just, I don't know what the conversation was exactly, but we were talking about film and I told them about, again, testing the waters and trying to see what my options are. And it
Yeah.
just popped in my head. I was like, oh, I have a business card if you guys would like one. So, and I was able to give them my business card. So
And then they go, oh, nice card.
yeah, they were like, oh, this is awesome. Like, yeah. So again, I'm friends with them on Instagram now, and they have my number. I have their number. So it
So
was
good.
pretty awesome.
So good, so good. Yeah, attitude is just it's just everything. Congratulations. I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
for you.
Thank you.
Good job. You got a great start. Wow.
Thank you.
And notice how we did it, guys. He's doing his research, making comments, making friends first. Make friends first. And then you just, you notice little things, right? You're still unmuted. You notice little things about their work, what they're doing, and you make comments. Hey, this was great. I love this thing, But don't be like a weird stalker person. Like he wasn't. And it took some time. Like, how long have you been following this guy?
About a year now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So been following him for about a year and just been a big fan of his work.
Yeah.
And yeah, when the opportunity, when he was looking for a PA, I just again DM'd him and it just went from there.
Yeah. That's what's so important about, when you reach out to people, like you got to reach out to people right. And I think that's what's really good about these calls is because you just kind of get it. I mean, even if you're on a couple calls, you kind of get what the deal is. So when you reach out, you have that get it factor.
Yeah.
Hey, I love your work, would love to work with you. I'm just starting out. Like he says, testing the waters. I'm just starting out. I don't know if I would say testing the waters. I was thinking about that. Because it's like the only thing about that phrase is I'm kind of like, are you committed or not? Like testing the waters is like maybe I'm not going to get into this business,
Yeah.
but maybe if you said I'm figuring out what I want
What
to
I
do,
want to do.
yeah, I'm just kind of seeing what I want to do. Then I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're committed.
Oh, I also wanted to add one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you, I just finished the first module new to the program,
Yeah.
and I just felt like coming in prior to the first shoot, I was like, man, I felt like I was not ready, but just coming in there felt right, and everything just I was just so observant of everything, of what they're
Yes.
doing, what the talents were doing,
Yeah.
that talents team. So it was really nice because again, it just flowed
Yeah.
nicely,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
without me overdoing stuff or just being too much. But again, I just sat there, observed, and just was kind of alert when help was needed. So that was really cool.
That's very helpful for us to hear you say that. And And that's right, because you're able to kind of relax. You know that you're
Yeah.
there to help. You know you don't need to impress. You know it's not all about yourself. You know you don't need to try to, get your next job. That doing the job is what will get you your next job. And just
Yeah.
these things allow you to just be your sparkly, happy, nice, helpful self.
Yeah.
And, that's what's going to get you all the opportunities. So, my God, that is so useful, you guys, to know that, because I didn't do that, and I was trying to push and get and get and get and talk about myself all the time. I mean, it's so easy to do that because you're like, yourself, and you're very comfortable talking about yourself. But then you realize, oh, that's not what I should be doing. So you did it perfectly, and thank you. That it's really a gift that you share this with everybody, because we're all like here going, okay, yeah, I get that, I get that. You guys don't
Yeah.
realize how much you're learning. You're learning a lot with these
Yeah.
calls.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jake says, I literally just got a call from a production coordinator I worked with a month or so ago about a new project starting up at the beginning of October. Let's find out about that.
Yeah, I worked a month ago. It was unpaid, but it was a really, really cool shoot. I only worked 2 days, and they kept asking me to work further days. But um, as you said, I didn't really want to keep going on the same shoot with the same people. Uh,
Exactly. That's part of our rules. 2 to 3 days max with the same people.
yeah,
Better to
but
spread
obviously
yourself
I made
around.
a good impression. I know they had a few other PAs on the shoot when I was there and when I wasn't there. But yeah, he just called saying that um, I think it was the AD who asked for me because he liked me originally on the shoot. I think they're doing like a remake of a Nick Cannon game show which you guys had in the US. I don't know what it's called, but you, I think it's like you put water in your mouth and you have to make the other person laugh or something like that.
Something
Uh,
goofy.
yeah, something goofy. But yeah, I said I didn't ask him about rates or anything. I just basically said I'll check my calendar, and then I will let you know if I'm available on the day.
Okay, cool. You could say, is this a paid gig?
Yeah.
You can say that right off the bat. Hey, are you
Should I?
available on this? Yeah. Yeah, you could email him now and just say, by the way, is this a paid gig?
Okay, cool.
Question mark, happy face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Congratulations. See, now another great example. You work for free, you work a couple of days, you're not working the whole time. I mean, in a way, do you respect yourself? They're like, we got 30 days, you want to work for free? Oh, I'll be there all 30 days. That's the way I used to be. I'd be like, oh, yeah, whatever you say, I'm there, I'm there, I'm loyal, I'm there. Wait a minute. If you're good, if you're in demand, if you're in charge of your own career, if you're going somewhere in life, you're not going to just work for free for 30 days for the same people. You're going to be like, you're going to have some self-respect and be like, I would love to work with you guys for 2 to 3 days max, but you don't say it like that. You say, oh, sounds like a great shoot. I'm available this day and this day. Does that work for you guys? Happy face. And because you're so bright and shiny and sparkly, they're going to say yes, because they're like, we want somebody like that on set. And he goes to set. They remember him because he's on it. Do you remember what you were doing on that set? That was, just what kind of interactions that were happening and stuff?
Yeah, it was like everyone was quite stressed because we'd just come out of COVID restrictions and stuff. We were shooting quite a tight space, and there was a lot of people there. So it was interesting because like you didn't really get an opportunity to have like long conversations with anyone, but
Yeah,
I think
happens.
that they were really happy with my backpack, everything that was in it. There was a couple of times where someone needed scissors or a Stanley knife, for example, and I had it straight away. um, I basically was shadowing the DOP for the second day because I had all this kit and I had tape and stuff like that. I was also driving the cast, the two main actors to and from the shoot for
Awesome.
both the 2 days. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. You had a
Yeah.
curling iron? You had a curling iron in your backpack?
No, 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 not a curling iron. Like Stanley knives, like scissors,
Oh, okay.
just stuff like that.
Okay, I thought you said curling iron. I'm like, Wow, he's got like stuff for like hair and makeup as well.
That could be one to have.
But it sounds like you had everything. Yes, you impressed people, and you and the other production assistants did not have that.
No, they didn't. They didn't. One of them, I think he was really young. He was only 17. And the other one was like a family member who hadn't really been on a set before, didn't really know what she was doing. So I kind of stood out because I knew what I was doing.
Yeah,
I looked like I knew what I was doing.
yeah, yeah. So this project that's starting, do you know what it is? Is it a
Yeah,
short
it's
film?
a I think it's a game show. They're gonna try
Oh, that's
and
great.
it's like a pilot for a game show.
Yeah.
They're gonna try and get one of like the big um, corporations to buy over
Uh-huh.
here. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it's I don't know much more about it. He said he's going to send me the details over shortly.
And who contacted you? What was the position?
He was a production coordinator.
Ah, okay. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Did and he said that the AD recommended you? Is that what?
I think it was the AD of the shoot that I worked with the coordinator on.
Uh-huh.
I think he's doing the same. He's doing the new shoot.
I see. But they said that did you know the coordinator? The coordinator didn't ask for you. The AD did. Is that right?
I think the AD did, but I knew both of them from the previous shoot
Yeah.
because they both worked on the previous shoot. So I think
Yeah.
he asked the coordinator to contact me
Yeah. And how do you know that?
because he said on the phone.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that just music to your ears, you guys, when you hear that? You know? It's like, oh, you've been asked for. They
yeah.
want you. That's a beautiful thing about the film industry, guys.
I was
People
thinking
want
about
you.
messaging him today. I was thinking about
Yeah.
emailing the coordinator today, just saying,
Uh-huh.
"Oh yeah, I hope everything's all right. If you've got any other
Yeah.
projects coming up, let me know."
Yeah.
But he called.
Okay, here let's work on that. You and do you have the shoot days or not? They're just beginning of November.
Yeah, they said it was starting on the third of October.
Okay. And how long is it? Did they say how long?
They didn't. I don't think he knows yet. He just knows it's starting around that time.
Oh, okay. All right. So you could do that, and you could say, but start off saying, "How are you doing?" Question mark. Holding for. I'm holding for November 3rd shoot. Do we know how many days this is yet? Question mark. Is this a paid gig? Question mark. Now you could say this because it's true. Starting to get busy out there! Exclamation point. Happy face. What that does is it makes them feel like you're getting work, you're getting other
Yeah,
work. And it is starting to get busy out there. And then they're like, oh, this guy is working. And it just kind of makes you top of mind so that they call you. You're going to work with these guys again. If they called you, they call you again. You're going to be working with them. You'll probably know them for the next 20, 30 years. It's crazy. So it's just starting. But that's great. And they're nice people.
yeah, really nice people.
Now, the AD that asked for you, you could text him and you could say, "Thank you so much for asking for me!" Exclamation point, happy face. I'm holding for that shoot. I'm holding for that shoot. It'll be great to work with you again! Exclamation point, happy face. That'd be perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now, of course, you guys can elaborate or say things differently. Do it in your way. But that's the basic. That's great. I'm so happy. Yes. And what module are you on?
uh, 5 at the moment.
Oh,
5A.
great. You're right
Yeah,
in it. Okay. So you're on the get and shoots method. Okay. So now you got the want to work email and you know that. Okay, great.
yeah.
So now you start getting on more shoots because you've got, okay, did you say November 3rd or October? Yeah.
October.
Okay. So you got another month and a half. You can be getting
Yeah,
on a bunch more shoots. Yeah. So do that get and shoots method. Just do it. Do it. And have you done your magic list?
I have. Yeah, I've started it. It's
Okay.
quite long.
Oh, is it? You got a lot on there?
Yeah, yeah,
Good, good. And have you noticed from doing your magic list that you have a lot more knowledge about what's going on in your area?
yeah. Definitely, definitely.
They give you
I've still
confidence.
got a long way to go because I mean,
Yeah,
London's really big, but
yeah,
I'm just kind of like doing it as and when now. I've got
yeah,
quite a lot on there, and
yeah.
I've kind of like researched a lot of the production companies. I've obviously added the names of the people that I've worked with on there.
Good.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
been
it's so
good.
good. Yeah, it is so good. And you'll find as you get on more shoots in the next month and a half that nobody does this. Nobody thinks about it. They don't know about the companies. They're just like flying blind out there, no idea. But you can be like, oh, who you been working with lately? Oh, I work with this company. Oh my God, I know those guys. I do documentaries. How do you know that? Oh, I do my research.
Yeah.
It's so good, you guys. And you'll do this for your whole career. Remember when I started doing documentaries, and I started with interviews, and then I wanted to do the National Geographic documentary. So all my conversations were like, hey, who does wildlife? Who does anybody does travel stuff? And people know people. But of course, they don't even think about it until you bring it up. And then you jog their memory and they're like, oh yeah, this guy. Now you're working with somebody. It's such an opportunity. You're working with somebody on set. When they say this other person that also does this kind of work and you contact them, it's a very strong position because you just work with their friend. Hey, I see that you, or I just worked with so and so on this shoot. He says hi. I hear that you do this kind of work. Would just love to give you my information in case you might need me at some point. And notice how it's all very low key, happy face. Here's my contact information. Let me know if you need a resume. But I really admire your work, especially the blah, blah, blah shoot, was great. Maybe ask a question, like something about their shoot or something. Oh, Romero says, how many freebie shoots do you guys do before getting paid work? Who knows? Sometimes you can do a couple of freebie shoots and then it's supposed to be a freebie shoot and then they start paying you. I don't know if that's happened to, I know that's happened to a lot of people here. I don't know if anybody here that's happened to, but if so, put it in the chat. Happens a lot because you're so helpful. It's going to happen to you, Jake. They're going to, mark my word, you're going to be on a shoot, it's going to be free, and then they're going to come up, oh, you're so great, and you're so much, and they're going to be, it's like, because nobody else will get paid, probably, other PAs, they won't get paid, but they'll be like giving you, like, here's £100. That definitely is going to happen. Yes. So, yeah, Emily says, Janet advises doing 15 to 20 before asking about pay and referring freebies to other PAs. Well, you can ask about pay. Is this a paid gig? You can ask that question. I just think that when I talk about like some of our methods where we go for the paid work, where we call people on our magic list and, you're directly going for it, I just want you to have enough of a base of experience so that when you get on these big sets that you're really smooth and you're really good. I mean, there's just so much that you don't know yet, and it will help you. And look, there's no big huge rush. Like I don't want to hold you back from going for the big shoots, but I don't want you to go on there like be so hungry, like I got to get on a paid shoot right away, maybe because you want to make the money. But it's kind of a mistake to get on it too quickly just to make the money. You know what I mean? Just know, let's get on these shoots, let's learn, let's get fast, let's make some mistakes, let's understand shadows and lighting and reflections and power and moves and how to be helpful and what people really need, and just practice your own energy with knowing when is a good time to ask questions. I mean, these things are all so get you work, they're so important. So you learned a lot. You learned a hell of a lot in your shoot. You got a lot of confidence from the shoot, Jake. Yeah, you did. You're good. You got it, don't you? Don't you? From one shoot. Yeah, he knows he's got it. He's got it. This is in his hand. Now he knows he's got a lot to learn, of course. And what do you want to do in the film industry?
I want to do like camera or directing.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can be a DP director. So camera is definitely a fantastic avenue. How easy is it? How hard is it to work in the camera as a camera PA? Not hard. They need help all the time. So, yeah, you're going to be able to start learning the lenses and helping out with camera. Hey, do we need any batteries charged? You can just come to, hey, you guys need any batteries charged? Now if you're, okay, here's the thing. If you're on a union shoot, and you go up and you say, hey, you guys need any batteries charged? It's a union shoot. They're going to be like, dude, this is union shoot. That's my job as a second AC. Don't step on my toes. But when it's non-union shoot, hey, there's no rules. So then people are like, oh yeah, sure, that'd be great.